Hola, happy Sunday. I have a brief bit of encouragement that I wanted to put out on a message that I titled Swag Like Jesus. So there's very few subjects that I like talking about more than I love talking about Jesus. And I'm quite sure that Jesus had a total swag. I believe he had a confidence and he had a boldness. I believe that Jesus was fearless. I believe that he drew people to him from his place of confidence. His truth drew people in. I believe he had such an air of authority that it impacted the atmosphere around him. And so what we're going to talk about is just the way that Jesus walked, because I believe there's something that we can all learn from how Jesus walked and how we should likewise walk to impact the people around us. So we're going to read a couple of scriptures here. Let's first talk about Proverbs 6:23. It says, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life." So there's three things the truth is. The truth is a lamp, the truth is a light, and the truth is corrections of instructions. And some Bibles say rebuke of instructions. And also, in a nutshell, all of those things are Jesus. Jesus is the light, the greatest light upon the whole wide world. So let's talk a little bit more about the corrections of instructions. I'm going to read a couple verses out of 2 Timothy 3:16 through 17. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, and for correction, for instructions in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work. So when it says for instructions in righteousness, I know righteousness is a really big word, but it just means right living, that the man of God, me and you, might be complete and thoroughly equipped for every good work, to walk the will of God out in our life, to walk like Jesus. In John 6:63, Jesus says that the words he speaks are spirit and they are life. So what does that mean? When Jesus speaks, when he walked this earth and when he speaks to us now today, his words are energized. They're powerful. They are actually alive. And those words, when we receive them into our heart, that's what corrects us. That's our relationship and our intimacy with Jesus, is receiving his words. And then in John 14:6, Jesus says, "I am the way, I am the truth, and the life." So there's that word again. Jesus continuously throughout the whole Gospels, he correlates himself to bringing life to the people. He is literally life itself, and the words he speaks have the power to resurrect to dead, to bring from dead to back to life again. So let's talk about a path right quick. So a path is a way or a track laid down for walking. It's made by continual treading, and it's also known as a footpath, a pathway, a trail or a walkway, a towpath, or a beaten path, right? Then we have a way, which is a course of direction. It's the direction in which the person is moving. So where are we headed? It's the way, also known as a route, a course, or direction. So the path is, if you want to think about it, how when we walk on a beaten path, it's down, the grass is pressed down from where those before us have continuously walked. So you can clearly see the way which you should walk because the grass has already been pressed down, right? So in this case, as we're talking about a swag like Jesus or a walk like Jesus, it's not just a path that we take or the route that we take, right? It's the way in which we walk. It's our mannerisms, a Jesus walk, walking like Jesus, his character, his nature, in loving people that God has placed in our path. That is what we call a swag like Jesus. Proverbs 4:10 talks about the path of wisdom. So I'm going to turn there real quick. It's a lot of verses, so I'm only going to read a few of them, but just enough to kind of get the full picture of what they're talking about here. So I'm going to start in 4:10. Hear, my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of your life will be many. So there's that word again, life, your life will be many. I have taught you in the way of wisdom, and I have led you in the right paths. When you walk, your steps will not be hindered, and when you run, you will not stumble. Take firm hold of instructions and do not let her go. Keep her, for she is your life. There's that word again. So there's a correlation here that God is trying to show us, that the way that we walk, it also correlates to the instructions that we allow ourselves to take in. It's how we self-correct ourselves. So let's go on in verse 4. We're still in chapter 4, verse 14. Do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not walk the way of evil. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn away from it and pass on. Then they go to verse 18, but the path of the just is like the shining sun that shines ever brighter unto the perfect day. So let's just know that these are two completely separate paths here. They don't overlap, they don't tread. There's a path of darkness and there's a path of light. And it would seem that the path of light is walked with an upright heart, because it says, I have led you in the right paths, right? We've all made those decisions which have likewise been not the right path and have caused much hurt and much heartache in our lives or the lives of the people that are surrounding us. So verse 20, my son, give your attention to my words, incline your ear to my sayings. Do not let them depart from your eyes. Keep them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them and health to the flesh. So when it says keep them in the midst of your heart, we literally have to ingest the word. We have to take these words and hold fast. So it doesn't just mean knowing the words. It means we can't be a spiritual poser. We actually have to walk the way that we're speaking, right? And then we're just real quickly as we're talking about light and the path of light, in Acts 9:3, Jesus shows up as a light from heaven. And there's many verses or many areas in the Bible where it talks about people showing up with light around them. And so when we're talking about the path and the way that we walk, let's talk about our destination, because there's a purpose to all this. There's a purpose towards right living. The destination. The word destiny comes from this word. So let's not forget that we are on our way home. We are just not like on a journey, lost in the woods, lost in the wilderness, that there's a specific will of God that he has on each of our lives. There is a specific path that he wants us to take. And along that path, there are certain people that we are meant to talk to. There are certain people we are meant to align with and to connect with. And then likewise, we are to encourage them on their path that they walk. So, you know, we go back to the destiny. Where are we going? We're not just lost. We're on a path back to the King. We are heaven bound. So we should live our life in in a manner which adds much light into our soul and also to the souls of the people around us. It's important. So we need to put on the armor of light, walk on the path of light, on the way to the Father of lights in the kingdom of heavenly lights. And this is something to get excited over. Hope you guys enjoyed the message.